Hi, and welcome to our webcast. My name is Patricia Atkins, the Senior Application Scientist at SPEX CertiPrep. Today, we're going to take a deeper look at fragrance, flavor, and color. These are mostly terpenes and flavonoids. So why should we care about terpenes and flavonoids? Well, they produce color, fragrance, flavor for a lot of botanical products. So if you see that beautiful rose, those are terpenes and flavonoids. That beautiful smell are terpenes and flavonoids. That color is definitely flavonoids. They create a unique fingerprint in plants, and they can be used to identify different botanical products. So different manufacturers of botanical products like cannabis and tea and spices, they can use these unique fingerprints to identify true products instead of adulterated or fraudulent products. And over the years, we know that they have great health benefits. We all know about antioxidants, about the antioxidants in wine and chocolate, and all of those great compounds. They are usually terpenes and flavonoids. What's a terpene? At its base, it's an isoprene unit. And people are saying, okay, isoprene, that sounds like it's kind of part of the rubber family. And it is. Isoprene is part of what you think of as part of the rubber family. But these terpenes, they contain compounds that are fragrance, flavor, and smell. So these are botanical products. And yes, they're composed of the isoprene, but they're really not part of natural rubber. So natural rubber isn't going to give you terpenes per se. There are two categories of terpenes: essential terpenes. These are necessary for health and growth, and they have more than 15 carbons. If you don't have an essential terpene, you will die. You will not have good health. You will not grow. So if you're a plant or an animal, these are necessary terpenes. Then there are non-essential terpenes. These are part of the defense and the biological processes of the plant or the animal, and they usually have less than 15 carbons. So how are terpenes created? They're synthesized along two pathways. There is the melavonic acid pathway, the MVA pathway, and this was discovered in around 1950. This is also the pathway that produces cholesterol, and it takes place in the cytosol of the cell. And happens in human, fungi, plants. So this is a common pathway to produce terpenes. And then there's the MEP-DOXP pathway that was found in the 1980s. And this is the pathway for green algae, plants, some protozoa, and bacteria. Now, plants can use both pathways. So they can use both the melavonic, the MVA, or the MEP pathways. So what are terpenoids? We've talked about terpenes, but what is a terpenoid? It's sort of an interchangeable term for terpenes, but they're actually modified terpenes. They have a functional group with an oxygen. Things like alcohol, aldehydes, ketones, things like that. So if you think of a particular terpene and it has an OH group on it, a hydroxyl group on it, then it's an alcohol. If it has an aldehyde group on it, then it's an aldehyde. If you group terpenes, they're categorized by the number isoprene units, that's the small functional group unit that we were talking about. So the smallest is the hemiterpene, and there's only one isoprene. So an example would be isovaleric acid. Isoprene is the only hemiterpene. Then you could have 10 carbons. They go up in units of 5. Those are monoterpenes. So the hemiterpene, the monoterpene, we said that anything less than 15 is non-essential. So those tend to be non-essential. Then you get into the over C15. Then you have the sesquiterpenoids, the diterpenes, and so on. These are a lot of things that we've heard of. We've heard of like some of the different fragrance compounds and flavor compounds, linalols, and things like that. So these are some very common terpenes, ones that most people at least know their smell. So that linalool, like I said before, that's a lavender mint smell. You have pinenes, those are from pine. The carophyllene, those give the floral notes to peppercorns. Carine, that's like the cedar smells. Limonene, that's the citrus or the lemony smells. Something that if you drink beer, you will know about humulene. That's mostly in hops. It's also in cannabis. And the myrcene, again, found in cannabis, myrtle, things like that. And then the roses and wine grapes have that kind of floral fragrance. That's the geraniol. So these are some very common terpenes, ones that most people at least know their smell. So that linalool, like I said before, that's a lavender mint smell. You have pinene, those are from pine. The carophyllene, those give the floral notes to peppercorns. Carine, that's like the cedar smells. Limonene, that's the citrus or the lemony smells. Something that if you drink beer, you will know about humulene. That's mostly in hops. It's also in cannabis. And the myrcene, again, found in cannabis, myrtle, things like that. And then the roses and wine grapes have that kind of floral fragrance. That's the geraniol. So if we look at another close relative of the beer hops, we're talking about cannabis. They come from the same family, and they have well over 200 terpenes and terpenoids in common. And so they have a lot of the same odors, a lot of same fragrances, that myrcene that is in both the hops and the cannabis. Is a very long list of terpenes for cannabis and terpenes for hops. As we said before, the myrcene is a monoterpene. It is like the most common of the cannabis terpenes. Then you have things like the carophyllene. We said that's like the black pepper. That's where you get that kind of black peppery smell in varieties of cannabis like Skywalker or Gorilla Glue. If you're looking for more of a piney kind of, then it's a monoterpene, at the pine scent and aroma. That's where you'll find it in something like a Bubba Hash or a Strawberry Cough. If you're looking for a limonene, well, of course, you're going to find that lemon in something like a lemon haze. So these terpenes have their different flavor and scent characteristics that then in the cannabis world turn into different names. And just like with wine and hops, cannabis has a lot of terpenes in common with the wine and hops. You have the myrcene, you have the limonene, so you have the lemons, you have the kind of earthy smells, you have the humulenes and things like that. So they really do overlap with each other quite a bit. So we've talked about terpenes. What are flavonoids? They're secondary or non-essential metabolites. So they're kind of like the non-essential terpenes. These are non-essential metabolites, and they are based on the phenyl group structure. They usually have a very specific structure, a 15 carbon structure with 2 phenyl rings and 1 heterocyclic pyran ring. There are 3 classes. They're divided up by structure. Bioflavonoids, they attach at the C2, so that's where that benzopyrene ring attaches to. Isoflavonoids attached at the C3, and neoflavonoids attached at the C4. And then there's dozens and dozens of other subgroups. And here you have a little bit of the different important functional subgroups: the flavones, the flavanols, the neoflavins, neoflavones. So there's a very large distinction between all the different subgroups for different flavonoids. Some of the important ones are the 1-flavanols. These are things that make tea and berries and apples have that kind of color, scent, those antioxidant properties. You have the dimers, the polymers, some of them that you might have heard of, proanthocyanins. Those are the ones they say for heart health and things like that. You want those proanthocyanins from wine, grapes, berries, things like that. You have your 2-flavanols. Again, you've probably heard of quercetin. That's one of those wine compounds everybody is hot for. They take supplements sometimes. The myrcene, which gives onion, kale, broccoli, those characteristic defensive odors. The anthocyanins are those blue, red, purple compounds. So that's where you get all those colors and compounds from. Some of the major flavonoids for cannabis are the cannaflavins. They're very unique to the cannabis family. So there are 3 as of right now that have been discovered: cannaflavin A, B, and C. There's also a host of other different flavonoids that are associated with cannabis. The quercetin is there, catechins, which are also known to be in teas and things like that. So there's a wide range of flavonoids associated with cannabis. And those different flavonoids produce a whole range and spectrum of color, from reds to oranges to yellows to black. So these are all different possible colors of cannabis associated with the different flavonoids. The anthocyanins giving you the yellow, orange, blue to black. The carotenoids giving you the orange, yellows, and reds. Now, everything from fragrance to colors are usually due to the components of the terpenes and flavonoids in a particular botanical. And they're found in almost all agricultural products. Think of any agricultural product: grape juice, apple juice, tea, wine, spices, berries. These all benefit from the fingerprint chemicals of the terpenes and the flavonoids in those particular botanical products. And they're known to have a lot of healthy benefits. We've all heard of the benefits of the berries, the antioxidants. So these are very important compounds, but tend to get overlooked for some of the more dramatic compounds. SPEX has been involved in terpene and flavonoid standards for quite a few years, terpenes especially, and we have just started to produce flavonoid standards for the cannabis and for the other food markets. If you need more information on terpenes or flavonoids, please contact us. Thanks for listening. If you need more information, please visit our website, www.spexcertiprep.com. You also can follow us on social media. We're on all the popular sites: Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and of course, follow our blogs and podcasts. Thanks a lot.